Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Android Central podcast. It's episode 103 already. Welcome to Thursday, July 19th, 2012. I am Phil Nickinson, your host for this little show and the editor of androidcentral.com. And here we are once again, Thursday night. For those of you new to the show, we do this live most Thursday nights. Sometimes not at night. Usually on Thursday, though. And we've got a live chat room, so if you're in the chat room, hi, everybody. Good to see you. And we got video rolling yet again, because we do this on video now, which, by the way, is very cool to watch on the Nexus Q. I think I put a picture up of that this week. It works very well. So, only three of us tonight. We got Jerry Hildenbrand from the site.
Hey, everybody. What's happening?
And Alex Doby is propping his eyes open.
Just about hanging there.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Cheers, everybody. I got a nice glass of wine tonight. So, what's going on? Anything new? We were just talking. I put in a floor last week in my living room, and I've been fighting a head cold and a chest cold, and I think it's back to a head cold. So, if I sound extra sexy tonight, that's why. No? Not sexy?
That's not going to be funny no matter how many times you try it. But
Damn
go
on. Fine. So what are you guys up to? Go talk Android or just hang out or what?
Let's talk some Android.
Yeah, better talk Android.
Well, let's see what's on the script, because I didn't write any of it tonight. These are all Jerry's stories, which actually is kind of nice for me. In fact, we might have to... There's an idea. Maybe we should rotate that every week. Somebody else picks the stories. It's not like it's tough to do. Yes? No?
Yeah, whole lot of copy and
Sure.
paste. I can do that.
Cool. All right, so starting up tonight, we've got the Nexus 7 all up in here. In fact, that's how Jerry spelled it. H-E-Y-E-A-H. Here. I think that's how you spell it. So, Jerry, tell me about the official Nexus 7 guidebook. What is this, and what do I do with it, and why do I want it?
You want it because it's free, and because no matter how many times you think we know everything, we should still read the manual. And what else are you going to get from Google Books? Come on. You know, that's why you should get it.
And that comes preloaded on the tablet, right?
Do what?
Yep.
It comes preloaded on the tablet, right?
Yes. But I mean, if you're waiting still, we've got a lot of people still waiting.
That's true. In fact, I'm one of them, by the way.
You could have a look at that and know what to expect when you get it. And it's always, always, always a good idea to read the manual.
Let's talk about that shipping for a second, because Google updated us, but I'm looking at my UPS shipping label, which was printed on July 11th. What's today, the 19th? And I still have no tablets on the way. And these are the 16 gigabytes, but I know some people have gotten them. I ordered these things in the middle of the damn keynote, as it was announced. Where is it? Where are the these aren't even my tablets. I have one here. We're giving these away.
They said that the 16 gigabytes, they were going to try to push them all out overnight by the end of business today.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see.
Kind of sucks they're going out randomly, though.
Well, I don't know if
people ordered straight away and nothing yet.
I don't know that it's random. I imagine that there's a whole bunch of Nexus 7s sitting in a box with the shipping label on it, right, just stacked up in pallets, and FedEx comes and grabs a pallet or two at a time.
Could be.
You know, depending on, you know, when you get it, it may be buried underneath somebody that ordered it later than you. I'm not sure how all that works, but I mean, this nonsense that there's some sort of conspiracy to keep people from getting it, that's probably not true.
What was the conspiracy? I hadn't seen that one. It's a good thing I haven't seen that one.
Google doesn't want you to have the tablet that they're selling.
Oh,
right.
God. Because I've been pooping on conspiracies all week. I haven't seen this one.
I saw one that anybody that wants to get their tablet should start their own Android blog on Blogspot, because Google's sending them to the press you people first.
No.
So I don't know.
That's awesome though. That's a good one. but I can
That's
tell
great.
you
People think we get review units that easy.
Actually, I sent my review unit back.
Yep.
You just gave me another one. I don't want to take 2 from somebody. Give it to somebody else.
Exactly. That's because you're a hell of a guy, Phil.
It's because I didn't have any more room in my bag to go.
But
yeah, there was a lot of stuff there, man. But I want to start giving this stuff away. It's frustrating.
yeah.
We've got at least 3 tablets, I think, and a couple Nexus Qs, and we got to give away some more Qs. By the way, I haven't done it because I don't know when they're going to ship it.
Sitting there live blogging in the keynote, and you were just like, right, I bought 2 of them and a Galaxy Nexus.
All right, done. Google Play makes that dangerous because it's so easy to just.
Yep.
Yeah, I already have my credit card. They've already got my shipping address. Just click. There's $500-600 gone. And God help me when the next Nexus comes out. So I'm just gonna be like, click, done. Don't even have
Make
to
sure
think
you click twice.
about it.
So actually, while we're talking Nexus, does anyone want to get any crazy early predictions in? Because I got a few.
God! Breaking news, everybody! I can't order any more queues. My
They
limit
sold
has
out.
been reached.
Uh-oh.
Thank you for your previous order. You have reached the limit for this item. Breaking news.
Oh, damn.
One per customer? What if you want to
order like 12 of them? He wants to surround himself. He lay in a bed of roses and Nexus Qs blinking beside him.
I've ordered 1. Pretty sure I only ordered 1. Yeah, I've only ordered 1.
Well, if you want to get a load of them and load them into a cannon and fire them, people.
Well, maybe Google just doesn't want you to have it.
That's probably it.
If you would open up an Android blog, they'd probably send it out to you right away.
Saw that coming. Man, that sucks. I wonder what the deal is because they haven't started shipping them yet, right?
No, the Qs and the cases are not shipping out yet, supposedly. I just wonder how many people ordered the 8 gigabyte Nexus 7 and one of the cases with it, and because they ordered the case, that's why their order got held back. That's
maybe, but see, I didn't think you could order the case. It's only said, "Tell me when it's coming."
I have no idea.
Because I saw people saying that, and I've never been able to quote order one.
So I have no idea. I don't do cases, and I know I work for a guy who sells them. I'm sorry, Phil.
I'm not a case guy either. No, I mean that's nothing new. Although I tell you that Samsung flip case is kind of cool. You've got it there on the Galaxy.
Yeah.
On the GS3. What do you think of that? Tell you what.
The way I hold the phone,
worked hard on it. We're gonna just bounce all over the place tonight.
The way I hold the phone, I always end up flapping the damn thing closed.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, it's a great idea when you slip the phone in your pocket. I mean, that's sweet. You're not going to lose it, and it's really well built and nice. I mean, it has it's more luxurious feeling than the rest of the plastic phone. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. It's leather bound cardboard. It looks really nice, right. And but if it just every time I flip it open and do something, I end up flipping it back closed with the heel of my hand. And I say damn thing, and I try to fold it back underneath itself. But yeah, I probably tanked our sales of that. I'm sorry, Phil. Don't hit me.
No. People actually really want this case, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Like for me, if I was a case guy, if I was going to use any case, it would be this. And it's, I mean, look, it's not cheap for what it is, but it does not change the feel of the phone at all.
Nope.
Even just people are all upset about how it affects the camera, but it's like, well, if you put your finger over the lens, that won't take a picture. I mean, whatever. But no, I mean, for me, like that's a cool case, and I'm not a case guy. In fact, if I travel with the Galaxy S3, I'm using that case because that's. I mean, you guys know how it is. Alex has seen it happen twice now. I get off a plane, and the phone's been in my pocket for like 9 hours going to Europe, and somehow it gets scratched, and it's the only thing in my pocket. So never again. Favorite games on the Nexus 7. What are you guys liking?
Oh, Riptide.
Yeah.
I saw there was an update to Riptide today, and I got all excited. Then I saw it was just to fix issues with Xperia devices, and I was like, "Damn!" I wanted, some new content. But on that little 7-inch tablet, I'm having a ball with it.
It's good, and I've been giving Sonic 4 Episode 2 a try. Really great Tegra optimized game, really sort of old school platformer. Haven't had as much time with it as I would have liked, but it is definitely worth picking up. It's only about I think $5 or $7 on the Play Store.
I've been playing Mini Squadron again, a little two-handed, playing game, and normally I'm not a big fan of having to use my thumbs on the screen just nonstop. It hurts. It's awkward. I have these mutant thumbs, but I'm loving it on the 7. I'm loving the 7-inch size again. 7 inches, go. I'm all for that. I'm doing a post right now, actually. So you guys carry the podcast for 2 minutes.
What we got on that? Actually, we're not doing the script. Let's just let's talk crazy predictions for the next Nexus because I want to do that.
Kyocera 2 screens.
No. Been there, done that. Not doing it again.
Yeah. So my thought was we're going numbers now with the Nexus line. If they do another tablet, it'll be the Nexus 10. What if we have maybe a Nexus? No, go on.
No, I was going to say I can see that. I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if there's another Nexus phone, it's going to be the 4th Nexus, and it's going to be a 4-point-something inch screen. So how about end of the year, Nexus 10 tablet, Nexus 4 phone, maybe slightly bumped up 4.2 Jelly Bean. Great new hardware.
Yeah, David, that makes sense. The 4.2 still being Jelly Bean, and we see it with a new device. I think you're right on there. I think that's that's the way that's going to fall out. They're going to have enough changes that they want to push out, but not enough to make a new platform version. So It'll be like it was with Honeycomb. It'll jump from 4.1 to 4.2. The hardware, though, I mean, we've got, what do we got that should be new? The OMAP 5?
Maybe it's probably I'm probably not going to be an S4 given all the fuss we've had about just supplies of that being really, really low. Outside chance it might be some kind of new Tegra 3, maybe. There are still software issues with Exynos with it not being open enough, aren't there, though? So it's probably not going to be that.
Well, I mean, the Exynos is as open as Tegra is. I mean, and we've seen the Nexus 7 with a Tegra 3. It could be an Exynos, but I don't think so because that's... I mean, you won't see an Exynos processor in any phone that doesn't say Samsung on the back.
Sure.
So,
but Samsung's the leading manufacturer. It tends to go up the leading manufacturer.
And chances are they won the bid to make the next one too. I mean, they're Samsung. They can. Yeah.
And they're swimming in money right now, and they've worked on 2 great devices before, so no reason why it wouldn't be Samsung. The big thing for me is going to be a better camera on this because that is really the only thing tearing me away from the Galaxy Nexus right now.
Yep. Right. I mean, people have been asking me, Jerry, what phone are you using now? I'm using the 1X, and that's why the camera.
Somebody, this is a question we have either in the voicemails or the, which, by the way, Renee, man behind the curtain, are sitting in Dropbox for you. It's either in the voicemails or the emails, I forget which, but wanted to know, so you've got CyanogenMod, you've got all these AOSP builds. What about the camera on the 1X? Like, do you lose all that awesomeness, all the really cool image sense stuff because of licensing, because that's not an AOSP? Or do you get that back? And I meant to ask you this earlier, Jerry. Do you get that back, as soon as drivers are released, as soon as HTC releases code?
You lose all the image sense stuff right now. Yeah. If HTC wanted to, release it through their developer relations program to be ported into other ROMs, I guess they could, but I don't think they will. And it's more than just kernel drivers, so it's something that they don't have to open source.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that for the life of that product, you're giving it up.
Yeah, and if you remember the that big talk that Steve Condick was giving right before I/O, he's saying that the biggest problem for them bringing any kind of phone to CM is the closed source stuff in the camera, just for the reason Jerry was getting to right there. It's stuff that they're not ever going to open source, and really, it's only Sony that's ever released custom code for people to use with custom ROMs. Most manufacturers are never going to bother doing that.
Man, I could almost see and maybe it's not up at HTC, but that's the sort of thing I could almost see them doing.
Maybe that they're still hit and miss on some of that opens.
It would make them the darling of all the Android nerds again if they did it, but
they're not going to sell any more phones, are they?
Right. I don't think they will, because worst case scenario, HTC keeps going downhill. A year from now, they're out of business. They have image sense technology that they can leverage to somebody else for quite a nice chunk of cash.
Right.
I don't think we're going to see HTC out of business in a year, but
no, I'm just saying if that's something that's got too much value to just give away.
Renee's saying Moto Nexus, and I think that Google are going to be very careful about not using Motorola for anything hardware related for a very long time.
I think right now Motorola can't competitively bid to build it.
Yeah,
everything's in too much flow.
People are going to say it's favoritism. I think Motorola is just going to keep quietly working away, losing $100 million a year for the next few years. Then maybe something will happen.
Well, they did talk about that a little bit in the Google earnings call today, and that it's just too soon to look at Motorola, and it's they're going to need a few quarters to kind of sort things out. So nobody freak out, Ibsy Siegler, at exactly what's going on, because it's going to take a little time. I mean, look, how long ago did that go through? A month, 2? I forget exactly when. So, I mean, companies are prepared. Companies are prepared to lose money and things like this in the short term, right? I mean, you take even a 3-month view, and that's really too short term. It sounds nice for a tweet, but whatever. What else? What's on the script that we're ignoring?
Jelly Bean features. We've still got Jelly Bean features. We're doing Jelly Bean. It has features. Great. Go read them.
Well, no, you know why I thought that was important? Because for 90+% of the people out there, the Nexus 7 will be their first and possibly their only experience with Jelly Bean as it is. Everybody else, I mean, you're going to get this TouchWiz version of Jelly Bean So, I mean, I think it's really important to keep up with Alex's. He's doing a little piece on each of the features that he finds, and that's something we all should read. I mean, I read them, and then I go grab my tablet and do them myself. That's the only way I'm going to remember it. And we're going to miss it.
It's going to be interesting to see how much of stuff like Google Now is left in branded devices, whether you're still going to have the shortcut swiping up from the bottom to get in there.
I could totally see Samsung Now or S Now, and you slide it up.
Snow, yeah.
Snow. Awesome.
We'll see what they do. I think some of it invariably you're going to have to lose. That's going to be a bit of a shame.
Well, different doesn't equal bad.
No. Now I still like this S3, and I can still deal with TouchWiz. So,
yep.
Yeah. What else we got?
I got the Verizon one here this week somewhere. Finally finished charging. And
okay, we're not going to skip the last one.
No. There's
unlock the bootloader. You go ahead, but I just wanted to let you know we're not going to skip that one. I'm not going to allow it.
Okay. We'll talk about your bootloader here in a second. No, I've got the Verizon Galaxy S3 here. It's a Verizon Galaxy S3 with Verizon stuff on it, and that's kind of all there is to say about it.
Speaking of bootloader,
and I'm still waiting on the dev version because that's the one I'm going to buy. But
good on you.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it, guys.
Why were you so surprised that I was going to do that? Jerry's like, "You're the best boss ever," and I was like, well, "Why would I not buy the dev version?"
I don't know.
Yeah,
I liked hearing it so much. That's what to do, guys. If one company offers one that's locked up and it's AES encryption, you're not going to crack it. Somebody may leak you something to help you get through it, but you're not going to bust through that 256-bit encryption. Never. Get that in your head. It's never going to happen. But another company's offering you one that's already unlocked. Yeah, it's a couple $100 more, but who are you going to support? Who are you going to give your money to? Who do you want to keep making them?
Right.
I mean, do it. Put your money where your mouth is and make sure Samsung, the next Verizon Galaxy phone, they also offer an unlocked bootloader option for you.
Hey, by the way, it looks like Jelly Bean's starting to push out from Nexus S right now.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah. So
good to poke someone to write that.
So I'm half listening again, maybe. So the XDA thread got closed.
Huh.
Oh,
there was one that got released for Australia. Apparently
they just
got
moved
pulled.
it. I'm downloading some right now. We'll flash it in the middle of the podcast. Why not?
Cool. Let's see what happens.
See if it works.
And actually, we got Jelly Bean ports for all kinds of devices. Looking at the next one here, we got Jelly Bean on the HD2.
We didn't do a post on that, but
which
ported to X device. Yeah, it's going to be ported. I mean, that's what a port is, right?
Now, when you were in bed, I did do one.
Like the HD2 is a big, huge deal.
Oh no! The HD2 is badass. That's awesome.
Winmo 6.1 or something, wasn't it? So
yeah,
I resisted the urge to say Jelly Bean ported to the HD2 while the Resound still doesn't have ICS.
Ooh.
Hey, well, there's that.
Yeah. That's a stickler.
Not going to be fully functional, is it? It's it's cool to have it on there. You're never going to use that as your daily driver,
right?
But it's awesome to see on these devices.
The HD2 was one. I'm trying to remember, that was announced for Europe first, and then Dieter got one through Mobius back in the old Microsoft Super Secret Society balls and shaft thing. And the HTC thing I went to this year is kind of a reboot of that. But like Mobius was way secret, right? So Dieter got one through that. I think T-Mobile finally put it out here. But I finally got to play with the HD2. Literally, I had quit the newspaper like on a Wednesday or maybe a Tuesday, and then the next morning I flew down to Orlando to go meet all the other editors. And I never met all these guys before. I never met Dieter, never met Mickey was there. Matt Miller came down, Kevin, Renee, and I think Dan might have been there. I think Dan was there. Casey Chan, who ran Android Central before I did, and is now at Giz. Has been at Giz for a while. So that was my first experience with the HD2. It was kind of cool. Just down memory lane.
Cool. I jumped on Craigslist. I wanted to see if anybody in DC had one for sale after I saw that they put Jelly Bean on it, because I was going to buy one. Because that's the
year
phone.
From now, you'll be running Keyline Pi on it.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll come right out and say that the next version of Android will get ported to it as well.
Right.
Sure of it.
Yeah, we should totally buy you one. So now that I've got this, now I have to remember how to flash this. I'm so not used to flashing Nexus S. It's been forever.
We got it for the
zip file?
Yeah. It's funny how you forget this stuff, by the way. So nobody give me crap.
Yeah, because you don't need to use any black magic with an Nexus S to get it to flash. Do you? You just sort of stick it on the card and it's good to go.
Oh,
I think so. Update.zip. Yeah.
Yep.
God, it's been so long. Such a noob. No, it's funny. Oh, damn it! I just plugged it into the wrong machine. I got to unplug the cable. Keep talking amongst yourselves. This is a fun podcast, by the way. We should do this
live ROM flashing.
Ow! Oh, my headphone cord is too short.
All right. While Phil is doing his thing here, Alex and I are going to talk about the forums post about how to unlock the bootloader and root the Nexus 7.
Yes.
Because I think Alex and I see both sides of it. To me, it's a damn Nexus device. Unlock it the minute you take it out of the box.
I totally forgot to. I'm so pissed at both of you, especially Alex, because he was with me.
Well, I just didn't unlock mine because I completely forgot, and I took out the box and I was just going to play with it. But, yeah, I did the same with my second Galaxy Nexus here, and and then I had to unlock it and lose everything to flash the new OTA. So there's no reason, especially on a tablet. It's not like you've got anything particularly sensitive on that. It's like a phone that's more likely to get stolen. You might as well unlock it out of the box. If there's anything you want to do, like if you want to, Richard had a good post on this week. if you want to change it to the old sort of larger style tablet interface, that is just a simple rooted app that you download. So really no reason not to, even though I sit here being a massive hypocrite having a bootloader locked Nexus 7.
Yeah, so is mine, but that's just because I forgot.
Yeah.
Why would you want to change it to the was it medium DPI or whatever the one is for the
I think it's easier to use it in different orientations. The thing that bugs me about the launcher on this is it is basically the phone launcher.
I
mean, okay, so is iOS, but of course you have to use it in landscape orientation, whereas the rest of the phone, the rest of the tablet, any other app, you can just use whichever way you want.
I keep thinking about this because, and somebody was asking, I think it was Renee was asking, does it use tablet stuff? Does it use phone stuff? And it's actually both. And Diane Hackborn did a nice post on that about how app developers can mix and match the different layouts, and they do it in the Gmail app, right? It uses some things from the tablet view and some things from the phone view, and it's kind of crazy to think about. Like, if I were an app developer, I might be going a little nuts right about now.
But no, it's that you only have to code once. I think what Diane was her whole point is they made it its own setting, like MDPI. Right. What do they call it? HDTVPI or something that makes me think of a TV every time I see it. Now you write your code and you put it out there, and you just, if the device is that, it automatically displays it, with tablet elements where they fit.
Right. No. So you set it up once. You set it up the first time, and then it works.
Do what now?
From a developer standpoint, as you're making the app, you only.
Well, I mean, you have to make sure that the resources are in there for it to draw.
Right.
But I think Diane Hackborn's point was how flexible and scalable the UI can be in Android applications. On the other side of that, that means the developers, if they want to make an app that looks as good as YouTube or Gmail or Google Play, they have to work out all the extra resources, make sure all that gets put in there, and fill out the XML file. Maybe that's too much work. I don't know. Maybe that's why nobody's doing it. But when you do it, the apps look amazing.
All right.
I mean, here's a question. You still run flashing, Phil?
I'm getting really close. Let's see if I remembered how to do this right.
In the meantime, I was just going to see if anyone had any ideas why we've got this, this old, well, not old style, but phone style button setup on this Nexus 7, because we haven't really sort of touched on that, why they've gone back to that sort of look.
Because of the size of the thing, right?
I guess, but we've had 7-inch tablets before that have used the classic.
And they sucked. Trying to use the tablet UI at half size.
You think?
Yeah. I like the Nexus 7, dock and home screen layout much better. I can use it.
Maybe it is just that.
Hand.
I was thinking more, maybe it's, the way they have stuff organized. Maybe it's, an organizational thing. Maybe they want to, keep having, I don't know. You just want to have all the content there all the time and not worry about whether widgets resize.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I'm not, I only know, from my dinking around with it, that I really prefer what's on the Nexus 7 on a 7-inch tablet.
Yeah, maybe it is just that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It just seems strange to me they have effectively 2 official tablet layouts now.
Yeah.
Oh well, fragmentation. It's fragmented.
Oh, so my update failed.
What did it say?
Status 7. What is that one? I don't remember.
Open the zip file.
Yeah. Oh, do I have to? No, man, really? I miss the old easy days.
The never was easy days.
Is that because you've changed something and it's not?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to just stick one of the system images on there and flatten it.
I blame Corey because I just got this back from Corey.
That'll work.
Oh, right. It's just because he's not here to defend himself, but
I'm all right with that too. Why won't you unzip? No, I don't remember how to use a Mac.
Unzip.
Man. All right, I'll mess with that after the podcast. So what else?
We've got a couple of app news pieces here, one of which I know nothing about, so I'll leave to Phil. But we've got Carbon for Android, which is kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Will be
All
free.
right, so everybody knows I've been using this for, a month now, maybe? I've been using it for a while. And I've had very alpha builds, right? These are not ready for prime time. They are not meant to be seen. But I'm still pretty excited about it. Now, Carbon, if you don't know, a lot of you guys out there came from WebOS. And Carbon was just an awesome WebOS Twitter app. It's on Windows Phone now. I don't think they have an iOS app. So we've known for a long time that it's been coming to Android. And so it's been an alpha for a while. I've been using the second build for a while. And beta is going to hit any time now. So here's the deal. It's supposed to be out sometime next week for everybody. And it's going to be free. And that's kind of a big thing. It's going to be free because the developers in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and they still cannot get paid apps over there. You cannot sell an app if that's where you're based, which sucks. And they had expected to be able to, and to have more countries announced by Google I/O, and that just didn't happen. So the app's going to be free. I'm really hoping there's going to be some sort of donation mechanism, because that would be really cool.
I'm holding it up here. I mean, now that I heard we don't have to hide it anymore, it looks a lot like the Google Plus app. I love the way it has the pictures in line.
It really does.
It's beautiful visually.
It's probably the best looking Android Twitter client I've used. And I played with Tweetlanes last week, and I know everybody loves Boyd. Boyd's just not ready yet. Tweetlanes isn't bad, but I love this dark theme a lot more. And I think a lot of other people have said that too. Tweetlanes is nice. We want to see a dark one. Carbon, the scrolling is just incredible.
Smooth,
awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very smooth. Very, very well done. And look, I mean, Jerry, what we've been using has, it's not feature complete. It's missing a lot of stuff that's just turned off. It's just, it wasn't ready in this build or whatever. So I'm really looking forward to using one that is complete. Really good developer and, friend of all our sites for a long time now. So I would pay money for this in a heartbeat.
Cool. Have a look at it there. I would use the beta if there was, just a little bit more settings and be happy and never want for another Twitter app.
Right.
So, I think it's going to be a great thing. And there's a lot of people that use Twitter. And let's face it, nobody seems to love the official Twitter app for Android. So
I'm real worried about Twitter just pooping on all the developers because, they've done it before, right?
Oh.
And turning stuff off. But we'll see. I hope not. I love Twitter clients. I love the idea of Twitter clients, that they can improve on all the stuff.
Right. I want G+ clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we kind of have one right now. I think it's in Flipboard, isn't it? That they have access to the API, but it's still not open, which is a little bit strange for Google.
I want the guy who writes Plume to be able to make me a Google Plus client.
Definitely.
Plume, I've been hit and miss on Plume. I used to use it a lot on the Galaxy Tab. Which apparently silenced the crowd.
Well, that just shows the dearth of good Twitter clients, especially for tablets.
A lot of really good.
And just the dearth of good tablet apps in general, which is still a big issue.
Well, yeah. But I love doing Twitter posts because, just inevitably when you do one, everyone's like, I like this Twitter client, and I find new ones. And, ones I haven't heard before. And that's really cool. You don't get that on many genres of apps. Except for launchers, maybe. Yeah, nobody has Google Plus yet. That's missing. I tell you, Seismic I used Seismic for a long time, and it's probably one of the more functional apps out there, but it just went to a weird place. And the company's in a weird place now, and they're pivoting and doing all this weird stuff. But for multiple account access, and I can post to 5, 10, how many ever Twitter accounts plus Facebook pages, not just Facebook accounts. That's badass all at one time. It's kind of annoying, I guess, for some people. But
And I guess that's maybe why we don't have public access to the Google Plus API. We don't want, it's in quite a nice place now, G Plus, where we don't have an awful lot of spam on there.
Yeah, I mean, I get
opening that up is just going to sort of open the floodgates to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that, but
oh well.
Still,
Galaxy Note is officially official on T-Mobile. In other news,
sort of.
Too late.
What do you all think about that? Is it too late?
Yep, we're getting the second one next month. It's too late. Sorry.
I mean, it's nice. It's a little bit too big for me, but I just can't help think. But
it's people been really surprisingly popular, and you can see why T-Mobile wants it. But at the same time, we're all but sure there's going to be a follow-up device, a Galaxy Note 2 at IFA in Berlin next month. So when you've got, it's going to be obsoleted straight away, is it really worth picking it up, or would you just want to wait?
Well, do you want to be stuck to that thing for 2 years?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. And sure, it took a while for the Note to arrive in the US in the first place, and it might take a few more months for the second one to make its way over there. But yeah, it's still only a matter of months, and if there is a Galaxy Note 2, you can be sure it's going to be out in the US at some point. So
we're going to be at IFA, by the way. Alex and Richard are going to go. I'm going to set that one out. I'm still kind of mad about that, but I want to go see Berlin. But I'm not going to Berlin. Sorry.
Oh well, we'll be there. We'll take pictures
next time. Yeah, thanks. You do that. Oh man, what else? How's our time looking? We're doing good. Galaxy Note, CyanogenMod is out on like everything now. They're pushing out. I don't know how many. We're not doing posts on all this. I mean, they've
but the Nexus Q one I thought was pretty important.
Oh yeah, have you played with that?
Now I haven't played with the CM that the guy has built because I don't think he's sharing it just yet. But I mean, I've got an image of just AOSP that will boot up, won't do anything.
Right.
I imagine he's pretty, more advanced than I am in his. But everything is there. Just slap a UI on it, and we have an Android computer to plug into your television.
It's basically just the hardware in there is essentially just a Panda board or a Galaxy Nexus, isn't it? It's
I mean,
it's that Android will already run on.
The OMAP with a gig of RAM, same video, GPU. It's, it's pretty basic. It's the way it should be. It's hackable, and we need to hack it.
Of this thing done eventually, but Jerry, you've been using it now. What do you think? I want to hear you.
Oh God, I mean, for me, it's goodbye Google TV. Everything I did on Google TV, the Nexus Q does better.
That's exactly what I said, right?
Yep, and it's a lot of money, but the way I look at it, a MacBook Air is a lot of money compared to a competitor's Ultrabook, Netbook value, Slimline, whatever the hell they want to call it. But people don't balk at buying a MacBook Air because the name and the company behind it and, the build of it. Well, then you shouldn't balk at the Nexus Q.
I'm going to sound like a total noob here, but remind me what XBMC is. It's
Xbox Media Center.
Right? Okay.
And I'm dyslexic and always end up typing XMBC. I don't know why. It is XBMC.
Right. But we want that on the Nexus Q, right?
Oh, shit, yeah. That's that and make sure it can mount USB devices and slap a 3 terabyte network, your hard drive in the back through USB.
Right.
There is your movie machine right there.
I have a feeling. All right, here's my full official final thoughts on the Nexus Q. I think this is kind of like they're floating this to see what it does. I really do love the hell out of hardware. I think it's beautifully designed. I would totally pay $300 for it, and probably will if they ever let me order another one. But I don't think this is the end of it, right? This isn't going to be like their Xbox and it's the only hardware you have for 5 years or something. I think you're going to see different levels of this, and I kind of wonder if they're going to phase out Google TV. Like, they'll just let the code hang out there. I mean, manufacturers can go get it. We've got new Google TV boxes coming out. Jerry will have the Sony one tomorrow. There's that Vizio one we'll need to play with because that's only $100, which is awesome price sort of thing. But I love the way this looks. I love it. This is like stereo equipment. I mean, this is what I grew up on. My dad, my dad was a lawyer who had too much money to burn when I was a kid, and bought all this stereo junk, and he actually still has a lot of it and never replaced it. But we had all this really cool stereo stuff growing up, and I remember running wires through attics and walls, and we had like the very first CD player that ever came out, and CDs were like $25 each, and this reminds me of that. Like, this is a new generation of hardware, and it's been a long time since we've had a new generation of like stereophonic hardware, stuff that you would put out and you would want people to see. It'd gotten so far away from that, in the past 5-10 years with, just tiny little things that are hidden away and you just plug it in and it just does whatever. Like, this looks good and it feels good. Blackman X is calling it. It's a conversation starter. Absolutely. It scares the hell out of my wife, which I think is worth the money too. I tell you, the one thing I wish it would do is control the entire volume on my stereo rig out there. So like, the kids are watching TV way too loud. I can just walk by it and turn the ball, and it turns the whole thing down. I would like that. Ooh, I think I'm making progress here. Install from SD card complete.
Well, I know there's so much hate for the Nexus Q, but only the people that don't have one are the people hating it. I mean,
know.
That means something.
Nobody has one yet, and I get that.
Right.
And it's
let's get it into some hands before you pass any sort of judgment on it.
It's still absolutely expensive. It's $300. That's not cheap. I get that. But, it's cool. I like it. I want one. I want another one. I want to give them away. What else? Or are we ready for emails and voicemails?
Do you want to talk about AT&T a little bit?
Yeah, we need to. All right, shared data plans on AT&T. They're really not that hard to figure out, guys. They're not. I guess I need to pull up the post so I can look at the numbers. So, shared data plans. You can have multiple devices pulling from the same data bucket, right? So think of it like that. AT&T pretty much follows Verizon when you look at it, in the pricing. So, and they actually share pricing schemes a little bit. AT&T has a couple extra options. So the basis is 1 gigabyte for $40, 4 gigabytes for $70, 6 gigabytes for $90, 10 for $120, 15 gigabytes for $160, 20 gigabytes for $200. Now, where you get the shaft here, like, that's not a bad idea. That sounds good. But when you get the shaft, there's a fee to use each device. And AT&T actually uses a sliding scale. Verizon doesn't. Verizon, I think it's $40 per device. So AT&T uses a sliding scale. So if you had the 1 gigabyte plan, it's $45 each for each device. So if you have 2 devices on it, that's $90 plus the $40 for data. So that's $130. And then if you go up to the 10 gigabyte plan, which is probably what I would do, maybe 6, but 10 gigabyte plan would be $120 for data, $60, $30 each for 2 devices, $60. So it's $180 total. So that's where they start to get you a little bit. Now, I did the math on this, and where it really makes a difference is if you start using tablets. I forget who pointed that out. Might have been Matt Miller, somebody else. I forget who. And I apologize if you're listening. But tablets, and if you use at least 3 phones, is where you'll start seeing a little savings over Verizon's plan. But even then, with the phones, it's not a great savings. It's like $10 per device because of the sliding scale. So Matt Buchanan, I think from BuzzFeed, said it really well, or Forward, or wherever he's at now, said it really well. Like, the plans in and of themselves are not bad ideas. Shared data is not a horrible idea, but just the implementation screws you. and these per device fees are what just really just jack it up and make it just almost unpalatable. It's tough to swallow. Now, the one thing that AT&T is doing that has to be mentioned before you pick up your pitchfork is that AT&T is not forcing anybody into this plan. Verizon is all but forcing people into it, right? AT&T flat out said, your current plan, you've got it. If you have one of our grandfathered unlimited plans, which, by the way, we're getting rid of, but, we're not forcing anybody off that right now either.
Right.
So that's a good thing, and kudos to AT&T for doing that. So I don't know. I need to look at the numbers and see if this will save me any money. I'm not sure it will. They do, you do get unlimited voice, unlimited text, and tethering tossed in there. So I don't know. This might save me money. It might not. I'll have to look. I haven't looked at mine yet. What do you guys think?
I think that just gives me a headache. That's confusing as hell.
It's not that bad. It's math. Hell, I can do it.
But the people that buy the spectrum off of AT&T and start their own little telco company can give all that away unlimited for $40 a month.
Right.
Yeah, that's just confusing. I see that. Boom,
I'm showing
chicka-waka.
Jelly Bean on the Nexus S right now. I got to take a picture for Chris. You guys keep going though.
Okay.
I think you're all nuts. Over here, we pay about $32 a month, and we get unlimited everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want unlimited voice minutes, you can go to T-Mobile, and it's $29 a month for unlimited everything else. There's 3 or 4 MVNOs for AT&T that are in the $40 to $45 range. I'm using Straight Talk now. I'm gonna drop T-Mobile. It's just they're doing some things I don't like, and I get 8 megabits per second down sitting in my easy chair on a Straight Talk SIM on my 1X, and it's $42 and some change, I think, a month for as much as I can eat on everything.
It's like 45
no question what I'm going to do. Yeah, okay, $45. It's, I don't know, I just gave them my Visa card, and they'll take it every month, and I don't have to worry about it.
I gave him one. Yeah, no, I got one too.
And so people are saying Straight Talk is only 2 gig. I've used 2.89 gigs since the first of this month. Yeah. It's not only 2 gigs. I mean, I don't know what they do. They tell you it's unlimited, and I'm sure unlimited doesn't mean unlimited.
Oh, never does.
But it's not 2 gigs. That to me is simple. Having all these tiers and these buckets and everything else, that's not simple.
Yeah. I mean, look, the math isn't overly hard. My thing is all these bloggers are, I don't understand it. It's not that tough. It's not, look, if you're writing about this stuff, you need to be able to do basic math. The fact that I could do it, says something, and I suck at math. I only screwed up one number in that. I'm very proud of myself.
But they're counting on somebody to screw up.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
They want you to screw up and make them more money. And I don't know. I just need something to complain about. So
No, I mean, and it goes back to that editorial I wrote. Like, you have to go into this knowing that they're trying to take more money from you than you're probably willing to spend. But, oh my God, what did I just do? But, I mean, the math is not difficult. That was my point. You got to sit down, like, with a pencil. I'll help you, Jerry. It'll be okay.
You won't help me. I got enough I can tell them, and they can stick those where the sun don't shine. Their crazy data buckets and thieving royal ways.
Stop it.
Okay.
What do we do now?
So if you got Jelly Bean actually up and running on the Nexus S there, Phil?
I do. I flashed.
How do you get the shortcut for Google Now when you swipe up from the bottom of the screen? Just normally when the phone's on, not at the lock screen.
Oh, when it's on.
Yeah, when you're not at the lock screen.
Give me 1 second. Let me get this picture to Chris. When I'm not on the lock screen, no, I do.
So do you just press the search button? Then is that how it works?
I push search, and it kind of looks like it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you're not really missing out on anything there.
Well, I mean, I'd liked having it down there. I guess. Did you not?
No, I was just wondering if they would still have that swipe up motion where you don't have virtual buttons, but it looks like they can't do that because Yeah, obvious reasons.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to use the screen for other stuff, don't you?
Right.
Other apps want to be able to.
So anyway, yeah, there's Jelly Bean on the Galaxy or Nexus. What is this? Nexus.
Best phone ever.
Man, I tell you, every time I pick it up, I wish I used it more. But yeah, it's there.
How's it seem performance-wise? Because I know in the Fireside chat that we're talking about.
I just flashed
not
it.
Being
What's the battery life like, Phil?
Yeah, what's the battery life like? I don't know.
Although, I mean, just swiping around, loading apps and stuff. How's that? Basic first impressions.
All right. Should we do some emails and voicemails and we'll get out of here? Since I've been not paying attention for half the podcast and doing posts. Let's start with the emails and we'll give Renee a second to catch up on the voicemails. Let me find. There we go. So Caleb writes, do you think the Nexus Q is a beta type product that might get rolled into Google TV, with the Nexus Q getting an update to Google TV at some point? I think no, if only for licensing things. Although, well, hell,
I think it is a sort of a beta type product, but I don't think it's going to be rolled into anything. I think it's just going to become its own thing. And like we were talking about before, probably Google TV is just going to be mothballed at some point.
Has the Google TV code itself been open sourced, or is that still just?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's the same as Honeycomb was, I think.
Right.
Probably never be open sourced. I mean, can you see? There's no way you're going to land some sort of agreement with NBC if you use the words open source. Yeah. They get afraid of that.
Right.
And actually, that could be a problem for the Nexus Q if they are looking at taking it in that direction, like we were saying.
Yeah. I'm going to say no. I don't think so. Maybe, but I think it might get a reboot. Like, it won't just be Google TV. It'll be kind of a whole thing. But I don't know. I mean, how much are you missing from it? Like, I think they'll open one up to run apps, but it won't necessarily be a TV thing. Because the problem is, once you start piping the cable signal into it, that's when you run into all these problems.
Yeah.
And licensing and lawyers and stuff. So.
Yeah, they're going to have a separate plan for TV, and it's going to have to not involve anything open source.
Right. All right, next. Who wants it?
I'm stepping
Chad
out.
writes. Chad writes, I saw that Apple was awarded a patent earlier this week, which covers the graphical user interfaces Apple designed for blogging, email, telephone, camera, video player, calendar, browser, widgets, search, notes, maps, and other multi-touch interfaces. I think Phil's been commenting about this on Twitter and G+. What do you guys think this means for Google and Android?
Nothing.
Ooh. Yeah. It's not going to change the way things have been going over the past few months and years, is it really?
Apple was granted an overly broad patent that they're going to lose when it goes to court. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Well, and we need to define what it is. And again, this goes back to people not knowing what they're talking about. And I don't pretend to be any sort of patent expert, right? But I read those who know a hell of a lot more than I do. And I mean, for me, the people I read are Nilay and Matt at The Verge, because they know this stuff. They know what they're talking about. They broke it down. They said, look at the claims. Here's what it is. All it is the scroll bar that disappears. It's a vertical scroll bar that disappears on the screen. There's a lot of stuff in Android that does that, but guess what? There's stuff in Android that doesn't do that.
Yep.
And that's not even my real point yet. But Alex brought it up yesterday. He's like, hey, go to Google Music. There's a scroll bar. Does that disappear? Hey, no, it doesn't. But the bigger issue here is that this is software. This is visual stuff and software. This isn't even, I think, like mechanical things. This isn't
not
like
even important software. Software that can be easily changed and most people will never notice.
Exactly. So if Apple wants to sue and try to get injunctions over this, let them. Because this is the sort of thing that can be changed in probably a week's worth of work.
Yeah.
Sad. Now I'm almost sad.
Yeah.
I've just had my fill of it all.
Exactly. I mean, it's not that I don't care about this stuff, and it's not that it's not important, but Jerry said it right the other day. Let's get back to the news that matters, and this is why I hate reporting on this. Look, we're not even reporting on this stuff. We don't know this stuff. We're not breaking news. We're adding to the noise.
Right.
And so if we don't do a post on that, that's why. I just don't want to add to the noise. That's why when the injunction came down in the middle of I/O, I was so pissed off. I said, screw it, we're going to give a phone away. Because I'm tired of adding to the noise like everybody else is. You know? If I'm going to rewrite somebody else's post, what good does that do? That does absolutely nothing. I hate this
Exactly.
stuff.
And I mean, go back and look at the Oracle lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
You had everybody and their brother was giving all this input, and every goddamn one of them were wrong.
Exactly. I don't know
So
enough.
it's
Yeah.
You're still going to be able to get the phone you want, no matter who you want to buy it from. It's a shame it might cost you 50 cents more because these companies want to sue each other and see whose crotch is the biggest. That's just ridiculous.
All right. Thanks, Chad, for getting us all worked up, huh? It's awesome.
Oh, my wife got me all worked up. She said, well, what do you think about when they patent human genes?
Yeah,
I
that's a
hadn't
bit more
even
of a
thought
big
of that
deal
before.
than anything on
Yeah.
the phone, isn't it?
So, I mean, I was all worked up the other night, and I need to take some Xanax or something and just forget about it.
Paul writes, I've been looking for a car mount that will fit both my Galaxy S3 and my newly adopted Nexus 7. I would mostly use the car mount for my S3, but it would be awesome if I could use the Nexus 7 as a 7-inch GPS navigation unit, especially now with Google Maps going offline for long trips. Should I go get my Nexus 7 and show you what that's going to look like? Or Jerry, do you have yours there? I'll go.
No, I don't.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second, because this is going to be funny.
Nexus 7 is a GPS navigation unit.
As
it's
long as you
a
got
great
something you can
idea,
tether
but
off.
there's no cellular radio in it.
Yeah,
I know offline maps and this and that, but your TomTom or your Garmin calls back home. It needs to.
Yeah, anything with a cellular radio is going to be more, a better device for that. Any kind of phone's going to be better than that as well. Just use your phone for it. You can plug it in, you can charge it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the Nexus 7 and the Galaxy S3. Look, we do a lot with accessories. I'm not sure if they're going to come up with one that can hold both of these properly.
And everybody comes up with the solution is to tether it. Well, if you've got a damn Android phone there to tether it with, just turn the maps on it. You should only be listening to the voice anyway. You don't need the 7-inch screen.
There's that. I mean, I get the idea. And actually, 5 years from now, I think it's going to be a non-issue. Honda this week announced basically that same thing that I went to Detroit to see last year from GM, where they use your phone and your phone's data to control apps that are built into the car, into the infotainment, and I hate that term, by the way, into the infotainment unit of the car. And I think that's going to be more the way it goes. And I think 5 years from now, that's going to be pretty standard in most every new car. For right now, it's newer trims and high-end trims.
In the chat, Colton Kaiser hit it right on the head. This I can get behind. We want to use the 7-inch screen because it looks badass. Oh, I'm all for that. Build me a 7-inch screen into my dock for my wife to fool around with while I'm driving. Watch videos, do whatever. That's different. But
no, what car was it I saw in Detroit? It was was it an Impala? I think it was an Impala. Had a 7-inch display, and it was beautiful. Loved it.
I put one in every visor and in the back of every headrest. And
yep, it'll come. It'll happen.
Hmm.
All right, next one. Alex, you take it.
Maverick writes, when I updated my Galaxy Note to ICS, it appears the phone retained the different storage space for apps and internal SD. Do we see this being combined at any time? What prevents that from happening on older devices, since that is the preferred method on any Android device since Honeycomb? I think the answer here is the difficulty in actually getting a device from Gingerbread to ICS. If you were to rearrange all that stuff on your SD card or your internal SD card, that would just be a massive headache for.
It goes back to what we talked about last
OTA process. Sure, but there's a separate thing with not wanting to. I mean, newer Samsung devices like the S3 have just a big partition. You do whatever you want with it, like the Galaxy Nexus. You're going from Gingerbread to ICS. You have to basically repartition your internal storage if you want to do that, and that's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's easier just to stick with the you go with a new OS, and it it supports the old way of doing things, and you've got all your apps work nicely. You don't have to lose any app data, so that's probably why they've done it. I don't think you'll ever go from one to the other in an OTA.
No, you can't. You have to repartition the storage, and you don't do that. A Canadian carrier tried that, and they bricked like 40% of the phones with the original Galaxy S. They tried repartitioning.
What did HTC do with the Flyer? Because that went from gingerbread to honeycomb, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they did with the Flyer. I don't
know if anyone has one, but I don't know.
I just remember Samsung has tried that, and it backfired big time.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to do that if there's any risk of breaking things through repartitioning storage. Yeah, it's just not worth it.
All right. REA writes, love your podcast, been listening for a few weeks, and it's great. I posted on the forums asking you haven't received an answer on this yet. Boo to all you people in the forums. I've been told that stock ice cream sandwich features music controls on the lock screen itself. However, I've yet to figure out how to get them on the Galaxy S3. Does TouchWiz not have that feature, or am I just missing the obvious?
TouchWiz does not have that feature.
What the hell?
Sorry. Yeah.
How does it
well,
not?
you can get to it if you don't have a lock screen set up. You can get to it through the notification bar, but yeah, you have weather and stuff and clocks and all that crap on the lock screen, but you can't get music, which is the thing you actually want to see on there most of the time. So it's not on there, but it sucks.
Pretty big oversight.
Yeah. Was it on any TouchWiz 4 devices? Don't remember seeing it on there.
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Sure
yeah. Oh well. Yep, it's not on there. Sorry.
Yep. Jerry, go for it.
Where are we at here?
James.
James writes, I have a question about how developers of apps make money on Android. How much of a percentage of the paid app price do they get? If it's a free app that is ad supported, do they just get a flat rate, or is it based on how many ads are actually pushed to the device through the app? Or does the consumer have to click on the ad in order for the developer to make money? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? What's Google take? What percentage does Google? It's not 30 like some others.
Is it not? I thought it was. I thought it was 70-30.
Okay, maybe it is. But Google takes a percentage, but the developer gets the majority on a paid app. I mean, just like all the app stores, people write apps for Android or Apple, they get the majority of the profit. Right. And Apple takes their cut, and then Android or Google works the same way. The ads, I've always had that question myself. I know it's not a flat fee. It's based on how many times the requirement is met, and I don't know if that requirement is to show the ads or to click the ads.
Set up. It can be set up so that it's eyeballs on it. It can be set up so that it's actual touch or clicks or touches. Chances are, if it's just those annoying ads that show up, it's how many people, because they can see how many times the ad shows up, and that's probably it. And traditionally, it's always been per thousands of views or whatever. But I mean, that stuff is just so customizable, right? I mean, it's contract type stuff, so whatever it can be. Yeah, it's not that
Well, I do know all of that's online. Like if you use AdMob or whatever, they tell you all this stuff up front. Nobody is. I mean, people raise their fist and Apple takes so much money. No, you knew it up front, or Amazon takes too much money. All that is presented up front.
Okay,
you
here
just have to
found it. So
and I don't.
It is 70-30, by the way. So
do what?
For applications that you choose to sell in Google Play, the transaction fee is equivalent to 30% of the application price. You receive 70% of the payment. The remaining 30% goes to the distribution partner and operating fees. And that's why, going back to Carbon for a minute, so Carbon's not going to have ads either. So they're not making any money off that. Just saying.
If you're listening, set up a donate link.
Yeah. Benny writes, I have an Evo 4G LTE, and I was wondering if whenever we see a stable AOSP build like CyanogenMod 10, Well, the quality of the picture. Oh, yeah. So we talked about this earlier. But the quality of the picture is
Yeah.
decreased due to the fact that HTC Image Sense will not be part of the build. Will the quality of the images decrease? I don't know. I mean, that's something we really need to like test and try, right?
Well, how much?
Yeah, I think that if you're using, I think one thing you might lose is instant captures, because I believe that's what a lot of the point of the whole image chip thing is about. So you might lose features, if not necessarily image quality, because it is just the same sensor behind all of that.
Right.
But again, we'll have to test it and see.
Yes.
Well, you definitely won't lose the raw image quality, the picture that the lens is taking. It's all going to be software stuff that you lose.
Right.
But I think the point on the Evo RT is the actual chip, because that does a lot of the cleanup that would take longer to do through software. Wouldn't be as good through software.
Yeah.
So I guess that's your answer.
Right. Okay, voicemails, and we'll get the hell out of here. We are ready, Renee. How about we go with Jeff?
Hi, this is Jeff from New Jersey for Android Central. Just a quick question about updates. I'm wondering if you guys see a future in which carriers and manufacturers just stop updating phones, and what you buy is what you get as far as the version of Android that's on the device. It just seems like an awful lot of money and time gets put into those updates, and the number of people who actually care about it when we're on it, I think, is pretty few. I care, but most of the people I know who have Android phones don't. In fact, sometimes they're even a little miffed when the thing suddenly looks different or acts different. So just your thoughts on that, and what your thoughts are about a world in which, I buy a device and it's got that version, and I don't get a new version until I get a new device. Thanks so much.
I think what you're describing there is the past, not the future.
Right.
I'd love it, though.
That's the way it was for a long time. Really?
Yeah, think of how
Go
much
back to the way it was for feature phones?
Well, think of how much the volume of complaints and emails that hit your inbox every day about, I need ice cream sandwich for my HTC Hero. All that would go away.
It would just be a different way to process,
being
wouldn't it? It would be for custom ROMs, which I guess we still have now. I don't know. I think I don't see an easy end to the whole update problem.
Nope.
Really, that's just something that is going to be here for a long time on Android because the nature of it. Other platforms get off lighter because the way they work. Windows Phone has quite a nice sort of happy medium between variety and speedy updates. But yeah, just a fact of life.
Vic Indotra was the other day while he's in Hawaii. He mentioned his Galaxy S3 is running an Android-based operating system from Samsung.
Yes.
And that's the key there. And I know that gets a lot of people all fired up, but different does not equal bad. A lot of the stuff in the Android-based operating system on the Galaxy S3 is nicer and better than we have in Jelly Bean. And Samsung's done a lot of good. But there are some core differences that just don't happen overnight.
Well, and I mean, this is something we've talked about for a long time. There are Android phones, and there are Sense phones, and there are TouchWiz phones.
Yep.
I was talking to Chris Ziegler from The Verge about this on Twitter, and he would argue that there are Nexus phones, and that Nexus is different than AOSP. There is semantics, and I think you go either way, but the argument can certainly be made.
And technically, he's absolutely true. The software on our Nexus phones is not AOSP.
Right. It's pretty damn close. But technically it's not. So it would be interesting. All right, we're going to start to run a little late, so let's move on to Matt.
Hey guys, this is Matt calling for the Android Central podcast. How you guys doing? I just realized you can't answer that, so never mind. But anyway, I have a question concerning the Verizon Galaxy Nexus and just the Verizon Nexi in general. So I love my Verizon Galaxy Nexus, love it so much, put Jelly Bean on it, it's even better now. And, just thinking forward towards the next Nexus that will, probably come out around November, December, the rumors are that Google's going to be releasing a few different Nexus devices this year, and, probably through the Google Play Store. What I want to know is it possible for them to release a CDMA LTE version on Verizon through the Play Store? It's not going to be a Verizon branded or anything, but it will work on Verizon's 4G network. Do you guys think that's possible? Because I would just love to, go to the Play Store on the website, pay $300, $400 for a Verizon-capable Nexus, and then be able to run it on their network without having to do anything with that evil carrier, because that's what Verizon is. They are evil. I know Phil probably will dispute that, but they are evil. So I would rather just use their 4G network without having to re-sign a contract or any crap like that. So yeah, let me know if you guys think that's possible and if it will or will not happen. And love the show. Keep it up. Bye.
For the record,
I think it is.
For the record, I think every carrier is evil, and they are all out to get you in some respect. It's just a matter of who's going to screw you worse.
Yeah, I think you absolutely will see. You can see this happening after what's happened with the developer edition of the Verizon S3, right? You buy that from Samsung, so there's no reason why you can necessarily do the same with the next Nexus, maybe through the Play Store. It's the same principle, isn't it? Really.
Well, except you'd need a LTE radio that has 462 bands.
Well, it wouldn't be the same.
That's going to be the issue.
Buy the Verizon. You buy Verizon.
You buy a Verizon one, or an AT&T one, or a Metro PCS one, or a Scandinavian one, or a German one, or a Turkish one, or an Australian one. I don't see Google making.
It'll be an international one, but I think because the weird radio setup Verizon has, they'll need to be just a Verizon version.
I see the licensing eventually getting worked out on LTE. Don't get your hopes up in October, I don't think. But until technology allows them to do like we have what's called a pentaband radio for GSM. They figured out how to make one GSM radio pretty much work everywhere. They're going to need to do that with LTE too.
Right.
And get some standardization before.
And this is what we talked about last week, but the problem is we start running into licensing issues, right?
Right. And, they'll get those worked out. LTE is going to be difficult to work with. They're more closed than open, but, there's always a way to work that out. Everybody wants to make money in the end.
Yeah. I think we're already seeing tri-band LTE devices in some countries, either dual or tri-band. So it's coming together, but it's going to happen slowly.
But as far as I don't want to have to worry about Verizon with a contract and them telling me what phone and everything, well, you're gonna. The Samsung Developer Edition phone was approved by Verizon, or they wouldn't let you hook it up. That's a level of control that Verizon and Sprint have that other carriers don't have.
It goes back to I forget when this came out, but Sasha Sagan from PC Mag did a really nice post earlier this year, or late last year, about how once you enter into the CDMA world, you are beholden to these carriers. Yep. And it's just the way it is.
It's another one of those things. Different doesn't mean it's bad. Don't send me hate mail. It just means it's different.
Right.
Yep.
Although we've seen lots of posts this week saying otherwise. J.R. Raphael from I'm gonna totally bitch her. Computer World, PC World, Android Power. Just go to Android Power.
Android Power. There you go.
Android Power. It's a great name, by the way. Did a post today saying, you know what? I'm done with the Verizon Nexus. It's not a Nexus, and for the very same arguments that we've all had. So it's either you kind of believe in it or you don't. And all I'm going to say is you kind of should have known that going into it. That's welcome to CDMA. I'm sorry. There's kind of no way around that. And to be honest, we talked about this last week again, but GSM's kind of going down that road a little bit too. A little bit. When you start having different plans that work on different phones, but not on others. Although my Nexus has been running fine on AT&T. I don't know if somebody did something behind the scenes. I hope they didn't. I hope it's just working, and it works that way for everybody. But it's the way it works. All right, let's do the last one. Get out of here. Robert.
Hi, this question's for the Android Central podcast. My name's Robert, and I've been using a Galaxy Nexus ever since it came out. I had a Samsung Fascinate before that, so I'm not new to Android. But I've got a shiny new Nexus 7 tablet here, and I realize there's sort of a new twist here. I mean, the tablet is something that's going to sit on the coffee table for everybody in the family to use. And I'm realizing that I don't really have a good handle on how Android deals with multiple users. My impression is it doesn't, at least not very well. But I'm hoping maybe you guys can give me some tips or some pointers on that. I mean, as far as I can see, you associate the phone with a Google account, and once you've done that, there's no access, no authentication, no access controls. Anybody who picks up the tablet can just go right into Gmail and see the inbox associated with that Google account. And all the apps like Facebook seems to assume there's one user. I guess you can log out and log back in, but it doesn't seem to like that particularly. It gives me this message about how I'm taking all this app data off the phone. I'm just wondering, is there any solution for sort of switching user accounts on a tablet? Sort of like how you can do on a desktop machine running Windows. I don't think there is, but this seems like, especially now that we're getting into the tablet era for Android, this is something they really need to address. Any thoughts? Thanks. Bye.
Who was it, Jerry, who came up with something like this last year? It was more for a workplace thing, so you could go from like a secure.
I'm trying to think. And we just saw it on some tablet that's being sold at Toys R Us like last month.
Right.
It's possible. But right now, it's not. You were absolutely correct when you said, what does Android do about multiple accounts? Nothing.
Buy your wife Nexus 7, man. Come on. Don't be cheap.
But that needs fixed. I want to be able to leave my Nexus 7 lay on the coffee table when all my kids are home from school with all their freeloading friends, and I don't have to worry about them getting in and writing dumb stuff on my Twitter account or reading my Gmail.
My candy.
Well, there you go. I don't want them to get a hold of my credit card either. God only knows what they do. And that would be so easy if I could just sign out. Like you do with Chrome OS. By the way,
I'm only saying my candy over and over because I just learned to pronounce my candy and not me candy. Just saying. Yeah, maybe just like a guest mode or something if it's locked. I don't know. I mean, or just an app that would do it or something. You think somebody would come up with something easier?
Look at the way Chrome OS does it on your Chromebook.
Right.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah.
See, there you go, starting rumors again.
How does iOS do it any better?
No.
Nope.
No, it wasn't the impression.
Nobody
really has that down yet.
This was developed for your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people don't share their phone. Now that we're into tablets, it's something a little different.
Right. Cool. Is that going to do it?
I think it is.
That was a weird podcast. I did 2 posts in the middle of it. I haven't done that in a long time. I apologize for not paying attention. But it was big news.
I'm going to go read them.
Especially with the Nexus Q. That's a big deal. That I can only buy one. Because that affects me.
Is that per Google account or per credit card or what?
Probably per Google account. I'm willing to bet.
So you just create another one and just run it through there.
Maybe. Actually, we need to look. And I said in the post, we'll track this down more when I'm not podcasting. But So if you want to email us like Benny and James and Arya and Maverick and Paul and Chad and Caleb just did, do it at podcast@androidcentral.com. You can get us all on Twitter at Android Central. I'm at Phil Nickinson. Jerry is at GBHIL. Alex is at Alex Doby. We are all on Google Plus under our real names because that's how we roll. So just search for us there, add us, we're awesome. Especially Jerry. We are every week, as we are every week, we are brought to you by shopandroid.com. You can call them at 888-468-6158. And by the way, there's actually some really big shopandroid.com news this week, and that is cheaper and easier international shipping. Got a bunch of cool options for that. The only caveat to that is if something has a lithium-ion battery in it, you're stuck to, I think it's UPS shipping, which is a little more expensive, but it's also safer. So I understand when batteries are flying in airplanes, you got to be a little careful about that. But the big news is we can now properly ship things overseas a lot easier than we used to. Plus we have new Android search. I totally butchered that. Plus, we have new Android Central merchandise. A new but slightly old Lloyd t-shirt. So really awesome design. Probably the best one we have, but on a really good quality shirt. So definitely go buy that if you can. We got a ball cap, and we've got the Lloyd Secret Society pin. So all you guys who were Google I.O. and saw all of us with them out there, you can buy them. And I think we might still have some laying around to give it away at some point. Hopefully.
Yeah, I've got a bag of
them. I gave a massive bag of pins to Jerry before he left I.O., so he has all those.
So we need to just... I'll make a hidden thread in the forum somewhere, and the first 50 people that respond get a pin. But I'm not going to tell you what the title's going to be.
Cool. So yeah, go buy those. Those are good to do. And if you want to leave us a voicemail like Robert and Matt and Jeff did, you can call us at that same number, 888-468-6158, extension 222. Or you can record it on your computer and email it in to the podcast at androidcentral.com. That's always cool, too, because it sounds really cool. It's just neater. I like it. Jerry, Alex, thank you guys.
Thank you, Uncle Phil.
Thank you.
Next week we might not have a show because I got meetings. I'm going up to Winnipeg to go hang out with Kevin, and Renee's coming with me, so we definitely won't have video. We'll probably just take the week off. Yeah, I mean, barring like any serious breaking news, we'll probably just take the week off and see you on the other side. But I'll let you know. So, Jerry,
cool.
Alex, chat room. Yeah, chat room. See you later. Thanks for being here.
Auf Wiedersehen.
See ya.